Hello, so I've started live streaming a little bit earlier than predicted, but I sort of got the webcam set up a bit faster today. So, if you're wondering what mask I'm wearing, it's the MSA Hour A3 or something like that it's called, which it was recommended to me in the last stream, and these are actually on Amazon Prime for less than £30, and it's surprisingly good. So hopefully the voice diaphragm's clear enough on it. Looking at the audio levels on the mic, it looks like it should be clear enough. But yeah, this is less than £30, and it even came with a sealed filter dated 2013. So that's not bad at all. So there you go. So I can't complain with a mask like this for £30. So hello to everybody, you all okay? What, the GP5? Or are you looking at a different one? That's a GP5. Just look it up on the law. Most websites have most countries have government websites where all the laws are laid out on them. Probably just something cheap, bred like a GP5 or similar, just because you probably don't want to be spending all that much money on your first mask. Yeah, I've got two new masks. So this one and another one Laser Point recommended or wanted me to get and sort of do a review on. One of these sort of plasticky half face masks. So it's like one of those half face masks, but it's actually got a bit of a plastic mesh around it, so it keeps the shape better. It's got a better strap system than lots of them have, and it's also got a bit of charcoal in there to supposedly remove odours. I'll give this a trial run at the Blue Cross on Thursday and see how well it works, but it seems a bit more promising than some of the little dust masks I've tried before. What, the XM28 are you thinking of? Yeah, I like the Yugoslavian M2 or the Serbian M2. Yeah, I'm really liking it, Bing. I've not done the helmet tests with it yet, but I'll do that when I do a proper video on it. But I think it should fit with most helmets alright. Okay, do you like the M95? I just got a GP5 bag of mine. It fits in there, and as I showed earlier in the stream, a sealed filter dated 2013, so that's not bad at all. I'll be keeping that sealed for now. Yeah, it sort of fits for helmets, but it's an obsolete mask, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, as I was saying, Mike, yeah, if you were definitely gonna end up buying another mask at some point, this one seems like a very good deal at the moment. To get the mask, a sealed filter and a bag for it, even though it's not the proper bag for the mask, for about £30, especially considering that this is basically was still wrapped in all its original packaging when I got the mask. And this one's from 1999. So maybe it had a 20-year shelf life on it or something, and now it's 2019. They're selling them off for cheap because it's technically, you know, like out of its service life of the mask. But yeah, it's very good. I like it so far. This one I just got on Amazon. One GP5 I got off Amazon, the other GP5 I bought in a surplus store. Wow, £25 for an M95 is a very good price. What do you mean? I'm reading the chat right now. Yeah, for what Billy said, pretty much any US masks are rare in the UK, and the rarer they are in the US, the rarer they'll be in the UK. This mask is the MSA Hour or something like that. It's called Free or A3. They're on Amazon at the moment for less than £30. So because I was recommended it by somebody in the chat yesterday, I thought, yeah, I'll pick one up. It was on Prime as well, so it came today, and I ordered it yesterday evening. And yeah, it's surprisingly good. Not many anymore, some random guy, because there's not a lot of money to be made in surplus. As the TF1 question gets asked every stream, it's okay. It's a GP5 style mask, so if you're expecting something massively higher in quality than a GP5, no. If you're expecting something similar in quality to a GP5, then it's fine. Right, yeah, let me just type it in. There you go. Do you mean one of these canteens? Oops, shit, never mind. One of these canteens? Because the M98 uses the same canteen as the M95. There's no point paying $165 for Mark IV GSR. You should be paying like $50 for those at the most, Billy. Yeah, there's one on Amazon Prime, Michael. Next day delivery. Over 100 Ghost Nation, I don't know. If you're on about this one, yeah, I think it's really good so far. I've not done any proper test videos of it yet, but it's comfortable enough, gives you a good field of view. Strap system's quite good. Already showed it. There you go. Hold it that way up. But this one might actually be quite practical for me, we'll have to see. Combined charcoal and sort of dust half face mask with a decent strap system on like a lot of them. No theme for today, Jacob. What, the Y2K masks do you mean, Shot Zombie? As in that one, the one that's up there, if that's the one you mean. eBay as always. Although it depends on what model of tank helmet, but again, like I say, with all this stuff, look on eBay, you'll eventually find something for a reasonable price if you look hard enough or long enough. Yeah, Soviet Y2K masks, although according to that poster, they've actually just called it the P2 mask. But yeah, they're called Y2K when I look them up online now. See, I had a bit of a strange morning this morning. I got up fairly early, but I felt quite nauseous earlier. And that's gone away, luckily, but I still feel a bit tired now, so I don't know what that was that caused that. It was sort of out of nowhere, really. No, I don't have one of those, Billy. Cool, what do you mean, like a plate carrier and helmet and mask, Benji, or what? Depends if you're in the States or not, Cal, but I can't really tell you here because they rarely turn up for sale. Oh, that's cool, Shot Zombie. I don't have any interest in MRE ceramics, so I can't tell you if it's a good price or not. No, nobody makes cheek filters anymore as far as I'm aware. No, I don't have any World War I masks. Yeah, I had a little nap earlier, Mike, but I'm planning on probably having a nap when I finish the stream before you start streaming. I might like have a 30 or 40 minute nap then. Just because it was one of those annoying nights last night where I went to bed quite late anyway, and then I still couldn't fall asleep till like 4 in the morning. Then I didn't want to get up early today, but I forced myself to get up early because I thought if I don't, then my body clock's going to just get really out of sync again. So yeah, it's been one of those sort of annoying days where I got up quite early, didn't get enough sleep, and then I felt quite ill for the beginning of the day, but luckily I feel a lot better now, just a bit tired. This is an MSA Hour, or Ayer, or something like that it's called. AUER. But it's quite interesting. They're getting quite cheap now on Amazon, less than £30 for one in the UK. Overall, I'm very impressed with the construction of it. If you mean why do they use HEPA filters, Adam, rather than the little filter pad, because the HEPA filters last longer and they're more efficient. Well, I don't know technically if M10 filters are safe or not. But yeah, I think that's just like a glue thing where they've gone a bit orange, because I've had cheap filters that look like that, but I think it's just where they've glued a bit on and the glue's discoloured over time. When you say cyan comes up, do you mean nothing comes up? This is much better than the PPM88 if you're asking that, at least the PPM88 I've got. Better voice diaphragm. It's got an XL valve you can twist round, as you can see there, maybe on the camera. So you can get that to blow in whatever direction you like, but blowing away from the mask's quite comfortable. And the straps are fairly decent on this. They're like easy to adjust rubber straps. And it's got a carry strap here as well. What do you mean, General Field Marshal? What filter are you on about? For which mask? Alright, now I can tell you're trolling, so goodbye. This is a 40mm mask. It's a modern NATO 40mm one, there you go. So you can see there's the 40mm thread. You can see where the voice diaphragm is next to it. XL valves, obviously this bit here. Just screw that in. It's quite an easy mask to put the filters back on as well, because of the position of where they sit on your thing. Alright, cool, you found one of those Shot Zombie, have you? Because otherwise I'd try and find you a link to the one I bought. But yeah, if you found one, that's good. Mine was about $10 plus a few dollars postage, so it worked out about £10 to £11 in UK money. The Swiss did a couple of helmet style masks, or St. Michael. It's probably easier if I call you St. Michael. But they're pretty rare. I've never seen them for sale, unfortunately. But in general, not many nations did helmet style masks. There's a few Chinese ones as well that are helmet style masks. But in general, you've got some of the German and Finnish like civil defence masks from the 1930s and 40s. You've got the Soviet masks like the GP5, you've got some masks from communist China, and one or two Swiss models as far as I'm aware, but helmet masks aren't all that common. Most nations use straps. Right, glad you're enjoying it, Benji. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. That's cool, Bing. So yeah, it's one of those masks that come apart easily, is it? That's good. Yeah, it seems to be a very good mask, Michael, especially for the price they're turning up at now. Well, I'd consider a PBF to be a cheek filter mask, so I'd pick the shims for it any day of the week, because the shims takes a GOST 40mm filter, which is far more practical. Right, Shot Zombie, let me see. Let me just get the mask off a minute. I'm just going to see if I can find the one I ordered on eBay, the same seller. If they've still got any for sale, then I'll put a link in a Discord for you. So let's have a look. If that seller's still got any. One from the Russian Federation, which is £3.98 and £6.37 postage. It says they ship worldwide. Oh, that price is where it's converted it to things. But this is from the same seller I bought mine from. So let me just put the link in Discord for you, Shot Zombie. So it'll probably look exactly like mine one. The like very modern ones with the green sort of foam on it. Because I think some of the older ones had like a brown foam. But yeah, I found one for you. So let me just post a link to you as soon as Discord loads up. The 4GP is my favourite Belgian gas mask, although you could argue that's technically not a Belgian mask because it was made in Germany or whatever. I assume the actual voice diaphragm itself is exactly the same, Dr. Vodka. I assume the only difference is the cover for it, because as far as I'm aware, the PRWU has that cover that's designed to stop things splashing into it as easily. Right, now let's find you... I tell you what, as the seller has a lot for sale, Shot Zombie, I'll just post it into surplus discussion. Right, if you have a look now, there's a link in the surplus discussion tab on the Discord thing. I don't think the seller's going to sell the last few before you get on there, and they're only about $10 in total, I think. Do you mean Israeli M15 or German M65? Israeli M15 because it's got a voice diaphragm and it's a better fit, and I'd say better straps. Well, it's also because originally masks didn't have more compact filters that generally sat on the mask. If you look at World War I and World War II generation masks, the majority of masks had much bigger filter canisters, which would then go on your belt or in the satchel. So the point was that the hose then attaches it to there. But yeah, now you've got more lightweight modern filters, there's no real need to have that. But obviously the advantage still is if you had a modern like box or coffee can filter, they would last longer than the filter like this on the mask. Yep, I've got a German World War II Stahlhelm that's rusted and missing the liner, and I've got the German Firefighter Stahlhelm. Alright, cool. Hopefully that link's good for you then, Shot Zombie. But that's the seller I bought from, and it turned up no problem. No, I have no idea about those whatsoever, Cow Armory. You must be new to the streams, Leo, because I like collecting them and wearing them. Yep, it did, but not many masks from World War I had screw-on filters, did it? So it was ahead of its time in that regard. But yeah, in general though, my point was that the majority of World War I and World War II masks were box respirator ones. If you look at sort of, especially in World War II, British World War II masks, American World War II masks, Imperial Japanese masks, other than Germany, which had filters on the masks. I think Italy probably had filters on the mask, didn't they, and some of the French ones? But lots of nations went with like big filter canisters that went in satchels as a standard, because it meant you could have a more efficient filter. Right, anyway, let me show you the helmet if you haven't seen it, because I've glued the visor on there. So just a second, see if it fits with this mask. Yeah, it doesn't seem an awful fit. I've not done the strap up, so I could do that. Oh, it's a Hanway one, Aegis. They call it the early medieval sword, but it's an arming sword. Hello Peach, you alright? Yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. I have no idea, Billy the Collector Guy. I could not tell you that. Let's see if this strap will do it. There we go, success. Sadly, they're in the other room covered in stuffing, so I can't get it out for this stream. But a German style helm pretty much fits with it, as you can see. No, not all the time, just for videos, some random guy. I only wear them when I need to wear them, or for shits and giggles. Sasha, you'll probably want to either get the NVIDIA or AMD tool that works out what GPU you've got and just installs the driver for you. Plenty of guides online on how to do that. Well, there was the big Ebola outbreak at all. It didn't amount to much, was there? So I doubt the current outbreak's going to really go anywhere. They cost a lot, Maxi, and I've not really got any interest in buying them because of how many fakes there are around. But yeah, Bing, I'd be pretty certain, although I will do it on a video, that the other helmets will work, because this one seems to work. Just put the visor up a bit. Yeah, I'd be pretty certain the other helmets will work, but I will test it for you at some point. I assume, Bing, there's people coming on that don't regularly watch the videos, and they don't really know what the videos are about, I would guess, maybe, I don't know. Now, I've got the Polish L1 and L2 NBC suits, and I've got the East German, like, 1st and 2nd gen NBC suits, but I don't have any of the Soviet Russian ones. Yeah, this is surprisingly good, isn't it? I suppose it looks a bit like a firefighter bit of gear, doesn't it, this? This is sort of a bit like a firefighter's mask, so it would sort of make sense that this one would work with it. But yeah, you can get the visor totally down pretty much with this mask, and it's, you know, it's only like you've got a mesh on there, so it's quite good. You can still, you know, turn around easily and observe everything. Doesn't seem to get in the way at all, to be honest, so yeah, that's good. Right, I'll just take this helmet off a second because I want to show you that other mask. Although this one's more interesting for obvious reasons, it would be good to show the thing. And as you can see, Mike, the super glue seems to have held on fine now. I've just, actually, this little bit might need re-gluing at the edges, I'm not sure, but otherwise it's holding fine. But, yeah, so... So for anyone who wants to see the inside of this mask before I put it down, I don't know why you'd want an old GP4 filter, but sure, that's not a bad price for a filter, even though it's long since expired and not safe to breathe through, but yeah, whatever. And there you go, that's what the inside of it looks like. And I assume these little bulges on each side are for the Tissot tubes, but other than that, it's quite a neat little compact mask. Let me just demonstrate this mask. Let me just check the temperature of my coffee before I go any further. Right, let me just get these straps correct. There we go, that's that strap done. I've not got my glasses on, so that's good. Now let's do this strap. One thing I've got to admit with this mask is I really like the smell it gives off. That might sound a bit weird, but it has this really nice kind of new plastic kind of foam smell to this mask. So yeah, this seems to be a fairly good fit for a dust mask. Yeah, it's got a similar design, hasn't it, Bing? It wouldn't really matter with most gas masks if you sneeze in them some random guy, because your snot would just come out the exhale valve. As in MC1 compared to the GP5, well, at the moment you can generally get MC1s for cheaper than the GP5, and they're sometimes a bit more interesting just because they're not as common. I mean, they're still common, but you know what I mean, not as many people know of it. But either's fine, really. It doesn't really matter. The seller didn't have sizes listed, Michael, so I just bought one and it fits me. The straps undo quite far. So I don't know if it is a one-size-fits-all mask, but I was at least lucky with the size of mine. I can't see a size marking on the mask anywhere. I still haven't watched Mike's padlock video. There's also one of Richard's weaponsmith's videos from today I haven't got around to watching yet. So I'll do that at some point. But sometimes I'm quite bad at watching videos when they first go on from other channels that I watch, just because if I'm in the middle of doing something, I generally don't stop what I'm doing to watch the video. Yeah, this mask does seem surprisingly good for a little dust mask. Well, Bakelite's only really on the exhale valve assembly kind of bits for some masks, and it's not bad for that. It allows better airflow, Tash. Hello, Richard, we were just speaking of you, because I said you'd done a video earlier today, haven't you? But I hadn't actually got round to watching it yet. No, bleach won't do much to NBC suits. If you've been watching some of my videos, John, where I've shown what happens when you expose some of the masks to lye, generally bleach is a lot milder than lye, because bleach sometimes has a bit of sodium hydroxide in, but generally not very much. So, yeah, I don't think you really have to worry about bleach damaging an NBC suit. I'll do a meet-up with Mike at some point, Benji. I haven't really planned on meeting up with anybody else. Yeah, I'll just have another look at it for you, Michael, but I didn't see any size markings on here. The strap just says 99 on it. The exhale valve says 96, so not all the components of the mask. It just says 3SF unten in that bit, so that doesn't mean anything to you. I think our 3S is the name of the actual mask. Are you specifically after the brown one-shot zombie? But yeah, I assume because of Chernobyl, the brown one's more popular at the moment. There's a bit of writing on the side here, but I can't really make it out. I think it's just a model number. I don't think it's so much censorship, John, as just when YouTube decides for a sort of period they're not going to promote your videos as much. Because I've had the same thing with other channels where I've been unticked from the bell on them or unsubscribed, and I've had to go back and manually check them. I'd assume the white-grey ones were made more than the black ones when it came to Soviet masks, but they produced both colours in like massive numbers. They used to wear the S10 and SF10, Andre, and the S6 before that. Currently, I think they might use the CT12 or FM12 or maybe even the FM53. I think at one point they used the Scott GSR, but they abandoned that pretty quickly because they wanted a decent mask. But again, I can't prove that for sure. But I think I had read that there or seen pictures where it was supposedly SAS training and they had things that looked like CT12s or FM12s on. As in a collaboration video of another YouTuber. So, hopefully I'll find out soon when my Red Ryder and PX4 pistol are being delivered. What I didn't realise until I looked up a video on the Red Ryder is that it can actually store like 600 odd BBs in the gun itself, which is really cool. So you can shoot it for ages before you actually have to reload it. They actually use the SF10, Andre, which was... the SF10 is basically the S10 that you could swap the filters from side to side on. But yeah, I'll give this mask a field test on Thursday. I have to make sure I shave Wednesday night or Thursday morning to make it as effective as possible. I've not shot loads of air rifles, Michael, but I generally prefer gas rams and springers, like the very simple break barrel ones. I had a Crossman Nitro Venom, I still got it, but that's been damaged now. It still shoots, but not accurately enough for what I like. Crossman Nitro Venom was alright, but I had a couple of minor gripes with it. The BSA Hornet, which I've got, which is a really cheap Springer, that's actually fairly good for the price. It's a £100 air gun with iron sights. That's good. One of my friends has a Beeman air rifle, which is actually really good. I can't remember what the actual model of it is, but that's one of those like really nice Springers that has a really nice smooth spring in it, despite the fact it's a Springer. Fair enough, Colleen, but yeah, as I said, the Discord is a perk for people that donate, so I'm not going to change that rule for anybody, just because otherwise it's not really fair for people who have donated to get on there. I'm going to go to Chernobyl next year, most likely, James. Oh, you mean the guy who got all the Americanium out of all the smoke alarms to make a nuclear reactor in his own shed and contaminated everything? Yeah, I do know about the Nuclear Boy Scout. He's quite interesting. I'll have to have a look. Do you know what the name of the Alpenflage is, the new one, or is it just called 2016 Alpenflage if I Google image it? Because most of the ones coming up if I search it on Google Images are just literally the old Alpenflage if I put Alpenflage 2016. Does it have a specific name? I know the Swiss also did like more woodland coloured version of Alpenflage later on, which is the same pattern, just more green and brown without the red in it. No, as said, unfortunately I don't do much airsoft. Not that I don't want to, it's just the nearest airsoft site isn't that close to me. And they only do airsoft games like one Sunday a month, and I work weekends, so it's not really practical for me to play airsoft. Well, just take a regular camera there, Bing, and film a load of stuff on a proper camera. Because the problem is with GoPro stuff is it all be fisheye and horrible. I've got a GoPro. But I rarely use it just because the video and audio quality are fairly crap on a GoPro. The only reason you use them is for like action cam stuff. in terms of, like, you know, using something for, like, you know, an actual reason I'd want to film it, I'd rather just film it on the proper camera, you know, so I get good light range and audio pickup from the mic. Yeah, my phone can film 1080p video, so I may just use my phone, to be honest. It's not as good as my camcorder, but I don't really like taking bulky cameras on holiday now in case they get damaged on the flight or whatever. In theory, I guess you could use rubber gloves to make a gas mask. Personally, I think the PMG is better than the PMK1, because while the PMK1 looks like it should be a better mask, there was a lot more quality control issues with them than regular PMGs. I might do a spooky stream tomorrow, to be honest, cheeky breaky, because I want to do a stream earlier in the day at some point this week. So I might do that for people in different time zones and do it sort of either around 12 PM or 1 PM sort of time. It will depend though if I find out if I've got any deliveries I need to wait in for tomorrow. But if I don't, I can go out to the pharmacy, pick up a load of medicine I'm waiting for that should hopefully be in by tomorrow. Get that done and everything, and then do a stream as soon as I get in. Well, I'm not going to be wearing an NBC suit or anything if I went to Chernobyl. I'll be wearing normal clothes and following all the regulations you're meant to do. Because, I don't know if you saw this, but there were loads of people that were doing this really fucking, trying to think what the right word is, insensitive, I guess you'd say, where they were dressing up in, like, stupid outfits and taking dumb photos in the zone because they saw Chernobyl on the TV and they're like, oh, this is like a funny place to dress up and take pictures. You know, they've got no respect for any of the people that died there. So, you know, I wouldn't be taking stupid selfies in Chernobyl and NBC gear. I'd be going there, you know, to just pay my respects in a sense and, you know, see it out of scientific curiosity, not, you know. That's cool, Daniel. That will take this mask off now. But yeah, I will do a field test of this Thursday and see if it's any good. I'm hoping this one will work quite well, because as I said, it seems to be well constructed. I like the fact that it's like a regular dust mask on the inside, but they've got the like plastic kind of flexible mesh on there to keep it in shape better. I've done that before, Tash, in a video. No, it's a British L1A1 SLR. The G3 is a battle rifle, the FAL's a battle rifle, so it's just... the FAL came out before the G3. The G3 basically happened because Germany couldn't get production rights from FN to make FALs, so they ended up having to get SETME to make him a rifle. I'd assume you'd have to, wouldn't you, Bing? But I'll be doing it through a proper, like, travel agency kind of thing, you know, no pissing about with dodgy stuff, doing it all officially. Well, it's the exact same thing, Bartos, isn't it? Where people go to anything like that, like Auschwitz, Chernobyl, or any place like that. You know, it doesn't have to be those places, but a place where lots of people have died or whatever, and then they take stupid selfies, you know. I find it just quite disrespectful. I mean, I can understand that they have the right to do that in a sense, but, you know, that still doesn't mean it's in good taste, does it? I think you probably mean the BEM 4GP Maxi. I don't know, Amir, it would completely depend on your school. I don't know anymore, Colleen, because I used to get mine from Blades and Bows in the UK, but Blades and Bows are closed down now. But I'm sure if you Google Denix guns for sale, you'll find sites selling them. The time, if I rotate my chair, you will see a couple of minutes behind it is 8:31. Yeah, I've played all the Stalker games. Yeah, but as I said, it's still disrespectful to do it as a joke, isn't it? Because who actually finds that funny? Like this month or last month, Bing, because they were going to get completely fucked over by the UK changing all the knife laws. Sealand. Sealand would be a good country to go in terms of shit hits the fan, wouldn't it? No, I've got a PS3, that's the most modern console I've got. I do everything on the PC, and I'm getting a new PC next month, hopefully, when the AMD Ryzen 3s are out. No, I'm not Canadian. What are you on a boot, Jay? I wouldn't advise it, John. Just simply because if you did something like that, and bear in mind the disclaimer in the corner, you'd have to do it as a last resort thing, and I think if you were really in fear over your life, you should use something a bit more serious than a pellet gun. You know, if that makes sense, but I'm not going to go into dodgy topics like that because you never know who's watching. Oh, so you don't mean actual Sealand as in the Principality of Sealand, whatever it was called, or the Kingdom of Sealand, whatever they called it. If anybody who's not British who doesn't know this, you know in World War II they had those like floating fortresses, I'm trying to think what the name of them was, where they had like these forts kind of put into the seabed floor. I think they were like observation, and sometimes they had like anti-aircraft or anti-shipping guns on. The whole point of them was just to sink ships or planes and, you know, like report positions of things. Some guy bought one at one point and turned it into his own country, and it was called like either the Principality or the Kingdom of Sealand or something. It's quite a funny thing to read up on if you don't know about that. They're about £30 on eBay, Maxi. Yeah, Vladimir apparently knows the history of Sealand, which is quite interesting. It's just kind of a bit of a joke in the UK where you can, when people mention about things going really bad, you can say go to Sealand. But to be honest, I imagine there's a lot of people here now that don't know what Sealand is. With my age, I have no right to know what Sealand is. It's just like one of those funny historical things you can read up on, and about like the guys in the helicopter and the shotgun trying to take over Sealand, which is like you know, the invasion of Sealand is like two guys with sawn-off shotguns or something. Can't you buy, like, a title of Sealand or something? Because that's kind of something that'd be a bit fun to do. Like, say I'm a Lord of Sealand or something. What video are you on about, Tash? Not by my family themselves in here, but I have, like, World War II masks that were the same type of model that my granddad used, for example, when he was in the British Army in World War II. You'd have to look at the moment, Maxi, I don't know, but when I got my AKM, sorry, not my AKM, my RPK, you could get them from anywhere between like 200, 300 plus pounds going up. Mine was 195 pounds, I think, because it was a bit battered. But with AK-74s, they generally cost more. I've got an FN FAL on my wall, so that should tell you which one I like more. Sounds nice, Peach, but you've got to bring up food, haven't you, in these streams? None that I'd really be willing to share on here, some random guy, because they're sort of private things, aren't they, where people talk about their, like, war horror stories, so unless they want to publicly share them, I would never share those with people, just because, you know, when people talk about, you know, like, military service kind of things in an actual war like World War II, it's very private, really, the stuff they went through. No, I've already said I don't have an Xbox One. I don't think we have toy grenades that explode, no. No, that's alright, some random, I'm just sort of saying that, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, like, you'd never ask a soldier if they killed somebody or whatever, you know, it's that kind of thing where, like, he has told me some personal stories that are pretty traumatising, and obviously I wouldn't want to share them, because, you know, it's obviously something that's, you know, like, I'm sure I don't have to go into it, I'm sure you know what I mean. Oh, hopefully there wouldn't be one that starts Proforce. I've got the Soviet Y2K respirators up there that they had in Chernobyl. As you can see, I've got a load of Soviet masks, like some of the ones they would have had in Chernobyl. I've got other Soviet NBC gears. I've got a Polish DP66 Geiger counter. This isn't the Polish DP66, but you know, if you're if you find the topic of radiation interesting. There you go. Yeah, I don't want to really get into politics, but I have been seeing there's been more like war saber-rattling stuff, hasn't there? That's getting quite serious by the sound of it between Iran and the US, but I've not really been following it. Just because, you know, it's like, oh, another Middle Eastern war, great, you know. The thing is with a lot of stuff, like I think I've probably said about this before, because you can't change what any of the politicians are planning when you hear them doing stupid stuff on the news, I've just sort of stopped watching the news a lot, because otherwise it just makes me depressed, to be honest. Or, you know, like a bit paranoid, because like when they constantly go on about like you know, like violent crime figures in your area, or like people dying in wars or diseases or whatever, as much as part of me finds that very interesting because of the sort of stuff I'm into, at the same time I just find that really depressing, to be honest. So I don't like actually listening to the news a lot, because they always report, you know, because it's obviously they get more views, don't they, and clicks if they report negative things, not almost feel-good news. So it can become a bit of like a negative echo chamber if you watch the news too much. And that's without even going into stuff about, you know, like a lot of the news sites not even being trustworthy. Alright, something really interesting I've noticed. On the YouTube live stream, does my shirt look blue to you? Because it's actually green. This is really weird. Right. To that webcam, does this shirt look blue? I'm just going to sit up properly so you can see it a bit better. But, I've just noticed it looks blue on the webcam, but it's actually a green shirt I'm wearing. That's weird. Yeah, okay, that's really weird, because it's actually it's like a green shirt. It's like seaweed green. It's not blue. Oh, I wonder. This has got me interested now. So if I hold this up to it, this is a completely different shade of, like, this is green, as I was saying, and this is a dark blue. Do they appear a different shade on the webcam? They appear a different shade, don't they? But that's really weird, because this is legit, this is green. I know it's because of the lighting, but still, you know, it's just weird. It's just weirded me out a bit now, you know, that this is blatantly green to my eye, but it looks very blue on the webcam, even though most of the other colours look correct. Could I buy a historic house for that, Amir? Would that count? Because then I'd have a nice house to live in. Would that count? Because I'd have more use for a house than lots of other historical items, to be honest. If I could buy, like, some old crumbling castle or something. eBay. Search Soviet civil defense posters and you can get loads of different ones like that. Some detailing nuclear blast radius kind of things. That's interesting, Vladimir. So what do you mean by that? Like, they don't have a separate word for blue and green? Or do you mean like in their old paintings, that they just use one colour that was both blue and green? To be honest, if this isn't quite turquoise, but it's getting close to turquoise, so I can kind of understand why the camera shows it like that. If I just put my desktop background on, what colour does it look now? If I now just flick back to the stream, will the colour of it seem to change? No, it still looks blue. If I get my torch, hang on. I know this is a completely pointless exercise I've got interested in now, but if I shine my torch on it, does it actually appear green now? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? So I guess that these Logitech webcams don't quite see certain shades of green as green. The GP4 in the background still looks like dark green though. Because the weird thing is my shirt, if you see the dark green the GP5 is, it's a lighter shade of green than that, but it's a darker shade of green than that Y2K, yet it appears as blue, not green. And that's really weirding me out now. As I've already said loads of times, laser no. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. I'll be off in about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, of course you'd say that, Peach. Yeah, like I said that, Seb, it is almost a turquoisey blue, but it is closer to green, definitely. And I know I'm not colourblind, because I've been tested for that every time I have my eye test done. I'm definitely not colourblind. Yeah, it's just weird how this appears such a different colour on the thing than that. But, you know, lots of the other things in the background look relatively the same colours. No, I have never watched Love Island, even though when I've often been at work, people try and talk to me about Love Island. I'm like, I really don't give a shit. They probably nuke all of them, Proforce, because I think most nations have enough nukes to go around to wipe out everybody. On eBay you can get British Army NBC gloves for a couple of quid for a pair, but you can also generally get them bundled in with NBC suits. So not very much is the answer to that. No, my next video will certainly not be a collab, Tash. I'll be definitely doing some collab videos with Weapon Collector when I meet him later this year, but that'll probably be around September time. What was that then, Mike? I can't really remember that, although it does sound vaguely familiar. Yeah, that's like more of a brown colour with green straps, that Chinese M65's bag. But yeah, that's green, that's like a very dark blue, almost green, like a very dark turquoise, that PTM1 there. But yeah, it's sort of strange how some of these colours appear different. But yeah, I'd say that mask looks bluer on the camera than it actually does in person. Oh, right, yeah, King of the Knuckle Dusters, and people weren't allowed to say Knuckle Dusters because of the British ban on Knuckle Dusters. What I find really weird, though, Richard, is when some people actually actively follow these storylines in soap operas. Like, they really care what a character that will be in it for years in a row. And the plot's never going to end in a soap opera. They actually seem to be worried that they'll miss a single episode where it'll be, oh, this person cheated on that person. I've got lots of pocket knives, Jay, but this is one of my favourites. There you go. Can't be bothered to get out for very long. No, I've never been scammed. I mean, the good thing of buying through eBay is you get a lot of buyer protection. What do you mean nuclear war propaganda? The whole point of people having nukes was to basically have an incredibly powerful weapon, but then as everybody else developed nukes, it became an arms race to who could have the more nukes to try and scare the other people off of using their nukes. But yeah, it is kind of insane, the idea of a nuclear arms race. No, I don't really have anything against the royal family, John, but I don't really care about them either, if that makes sense. Like, I have more sympathy towards the royal family than a lot of our politicians, but I really couldn't care about royal babies or whatever else, you know what I mean? Which one? Protect and Survive you can buy, Michael. You can't buy War Emergency Guidebooks, because they're technically... I still don't really know the legality of it, to be honest with you. It's a training spear. It's not got a point on the end. It's like a flat end for either like sparring or reenactment use, and it's being held by the French right armour. What happens if I put this up to the camera just out of interest? Just disassembling my torch while I was talking. So that just shows everything really zoomed in, doesn't it?
Oh well. eBay. They actually didn't ceramic planes. They came close to developing a dirty bomb, but even with them blowing up the Norwegian heavy water facility, the Nazis didn't really understand how to build a thing. You can, if you're really interested in it, there's some very good documentaries explaining Nazi Germany's development towards nuclear weapons. But in general, they didn't understand how to build the reactors properly because there wasn't enough knowledge at the time. Because bear in mind, the US Manhattan Project had like scientists in from basically America, the United Kingdom, and lots of the occupied countries in Europe, where the scientists were living in America or, you know, had fled Europe. So the Manhattan Project had loads and loads of really great scientific minds in it. The Nazi attempt to make nukes had just basically Nazi German scientists involved in it. So it never did. The closest they came to having nuclear weapons was the America bomber, which was basically the idea of spreading radiation with a bomb over America. They never actually had a nuclear bomb. Not that they weren't really big heroes, you know, that blew up that dam and everything and stopped the heavy water processing and all that. Not to diminish that, but, you know, when people say the Nazis almost developed a nuke, they didn't. Yeah, it's strange that lots of Americans are proud of the fact in 1776 they fought the War of Independence to get away from the crown, but now they're obsessed with the royal family. I don't know what that is, but I suppose 1776 is more about taxation, wasn't it, than anything else. I don't get what you're on about there, Tash. I wouldn't take other people's property, though, if that's what you're saying. I'm not a thief. Yeah, there's some quite interesting books on nuclear war, Michael. No, let me Google that, Vladimir, but I've not actually heard of that. That sounds interesting. I'm not, like, into physics, like, really, a lot. It's just I find some of the stuff surrounding nuclear weapons interesting. Yeah, including his work on the Manhattan Project. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'll keep that open, thanks, and I might look into reading that. And speaking of nuclear bombs, Amazon has just popped up with a notification telling me my Trinity and Beyond Blu-ray is dispatched, which is good. No, because Michael, like I said, I've done a video showing it. That's as far as I'm going, because I'm not going to get in legal shit by basically uploading that entire guide to the internet. You know, because there's still no real explanation of how legal the book is or not to own. Because I only got it because somebody's family members were in that War Emergency Council and they had no use for the book anymore. So I was given it like a present, basically. But it's technically, you know, could still be considered state military secrets. That's no problem, Michael. I'm just sort of saying that just because, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm lucky to have it, but it's also one of those sort of items that, you know, in a legal standpoint, I don't really know where I stand on having it. I've tried to look in it. I know they did declassify a lot of that stuff not too long ago, but I couldn't find the exact one I owned on the list of declassified sort of Cold War military documents. Also, I'm not going to go into politics too much, because read that bit. If people keep bringing up politics, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to finish the stream in a few minutes anyway. Oh, is it the entire film, Mike? Is it in a decent quality? But yeah, like I said, because I like the film a lot, I've bought on Blu-ray just so I can also watch a load of the special features on it. But yeah, Trinity and Beyond is definitely worth watching for anybody who's not watched that and they find nuclear weapons interesting. Depends what type of filter is maxi and how long's left on the expiry date. If it's got like a decade left on it and it's like an ABEC 2 P3 one, maybe If it's expired or close to expiring. Oh, you said it's unexpired, so if it's close to expiring and it's 18, definitely not. Yeah, no worries, John. It's just, like I said, unless we have a politics theme stream, I just hate to go into politics because it causes arguments. Have you watched it all yet, Mike? Or are you planning on watching it soon? If you watch some of my videos, Aegis, you see I've done some very crappy sparring practice, but I don't do any, like, HEMA stuff. Anyway, I'll finish the stream in a few minutes anyway. Again, I'm not going to bother answering questions I already answered hundreds of times in other streams and videos on this stream for the people asking what's your favourite mask and all that sort of stuff. Alright, cool. Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch, Mike, but obviously you know I think that anyway. I didn't see the oh, yeah, Max, he did say 2036. Yeah, for £18 for a filter if it's sealed properly, that's meant to expire in 2036, and I'd say definitely. Trinity and Beyond's about the atomic bombs, yeah, as in the Trinity bomb gadget, the first ever bomb detonated, and Beyond, as in all the nuclear weapons that came afterwards. So basically what it is it's like a documentary showing like how the nuclear bombs got bigger and bigger yields, and like the craziest stuff they did during the nuclear tests. You could always do it for a film club, couldn't you, where you get Zomba and do a fake nuclear flash and have him as like one of the mannequins in the Nuketown house. Maybe try and weigh it down at an angle, Lee, to the point where it goes to the right angle. I don't really know, to be honest. Right, I'll finish the stream up for now, because most of the questions getting asked are things I've already done videos on or already explained over and over again. So I said that is sort of things I lose patience with a bit. But thank you everybody for the stream tonight. It's been quite an interesting discussion for a lot of it. I'm obviously not American Rake EU, as you can probably tell from my voice, but I know you're probably doing that to be annoying. Not that I have any problems with Americans, but I don't sound anything like an American now, do I? Anyway, yeah, so see you everybody. And I'll be on your Twitch stream later on, Mike. So is that 10 PM you're starting at? But I'll be on anyway, if you're on at 10 PM. Right, see everybody and goodbye.